I mean, in the simplest terms, it's just this like childhood play. It's super easy. You're gliding, you're changing direction. It's not that it's easy to learn, but it doesn't take long to get to be able to do the basic stuff, to move around like half an hour. Anybody can get out there in half an hour and feel like, okay, I'm skating.
So looking at this, like, where is this? Why does that ice look like that? That kind of stuff.
So this is Rabbit Lake. This is a 5 mile, 4.5 mile hike from Anchorage. And this was from late October, which was the earliest I'd ever skated. But we just had these unusual cold and clear conditions, unusual for October, that allowed this ice to form quickly and cleanly. So there's very little trapped air in it.
Now, how thick would the ice there be?
What's your guess?
3 inches.
Yeah, right on. 3 to 4 inches. Yep, spot on.
All right, so you need this much ice. Like, how many inches, centimeters, whatever of ice do you need? Like, okay, you can do it at this much. You really should wait till this much.
Yeah, you're gonna get different answers depending on who you ask. For me personally, with the skating I do, and it's often in remote settings where there isn't anybody to help or anybody to tell you ahead of time how thick the ice is. The magic numbers for me are 2 inches and 4 inches. So is that 5 centimeters and 10 centimeters. At 2 inches will support me, and I can kind of get away with it, but I'm on high alert, and I test the ice strength as I go pretty frequently. 4 inches is like just kind of like I can relax a little bit, let the pressure off my shoulders, and it's like, okay, sweet, green light, we can run with this. I'll go faster. I'll check less frequently. So those are the numbers that I keep track of, 2 and 4, and I check them throughout the outing.
Is it dangerous? Do you feel like it's a dangerous thing?
You know what? And I do pay attention to this because I teach. I'm a ice rescue instructor. What goes wrong most often is are impact injuries. So maybe um, breaking a wrist, landing on a knee or an elbow, hitting your head. That'd be pretty serious on ice. So that's what goes wrong most of the time statistically. What people I think are more aware of and more worried about, the perceived risk is of breaking through ice and going to the water, and that is super scary. Statistically, it's not as big a deal.
How often would you say that, like, okay, has that happened to you before when you've been out doing it where you just cracked through it?
It happens quite often when I am on shallow water and I know the consequences going to my knees and not much past that. So like we will skate a bunch of marshes and swamps here. And there it's like, oh no, I got my feet wet. It's not a big deal. On deeper ice, I don't really mess with the thin ice when it's deeper water.
But is this the kind of thing, like, look, if something happens to somebody, they're usually pushing it or they just got really unlucky? Or is this more of a thing that, like, oh, this can happen to anybody at any time?
I think it's rarely a surprise. I think the people that break through are thinking, "Oh, yep, I know I'm pushing it," and so for the 3 or 4 people that I talked to this year, they're all wearing safety gear. They've got ice picks. They might have a life vest on. Like they kind of know they're pushing it, so it's not a big surprise within this community. I will say, and I don't know how in the weeds you want to get with any of this, but early season ice, these these breakthroughs that I'm describing, that's really different than late season ice. And the difference is that now the thickness is a pretty good proxy for strength. So if you go out there and there's 4 inches of ice, you're pretty much good to go as a skater. If I try that same thing in March, 4 inches of ice isn't necessarily strong enough to support my weight. And it's a question of sort of the internal strength of the ice. And ice can rot from within, especially when it gets a bunch of solar radiation.
I might not make this a very good analogy, but I think it'll make enough sense, right? Like, so it can be like 4 inches of solid ice, like concrete, or it can be like 4 inches of solid ice, kind of like Swiss cheese.
Yeah, that's right. If you just make those holes really small, that's a pretty good analogy.
Now, Is there any kind of advantage to skating thin ice, right? Like, are there certain people that would be like, oh, but thin ice is the best ice?
There's certainly a sub community of skaters that really seek out that thin ice thrill. A lot of those folks are wearing dry suits and different protective equipment because I think they know they're more likely to break through. The main motivation to skate thin ice is that that's generally black ice or the crystal clear ice, so you get to see through it. And if there are cool textures on the lake bed, that can be really rewarding visually. There are also some fun sounds, and then for the people that are sort of motivated by that, sort of playing on the edge of their risk envelope, um, then you're always a little bit on edge, like, oh, I just pulled off something, and so that does appeal to a number of skaters. And then there are a number that don't mess with it. They wait for that sort of 4 inches. They wait to see that somebody else has already gone out there.
Are people starting to push it? Do you think that if it's getting more popular, that people are kind of starting to push it?
Yeah, yeah, and I think I'm one of those people. We've done some remote trips, and I've come back mostly like years later once I got more formal in my training with ice rescue and understanding what can go wrong, and looking back and being like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. Generally, I can't believe I did that without testing the ice's strength as we went, or without carrying the right safety equipment, or without having practiced some of the rescue scenarios. But for sure, I think like any sport, um, there's it's like a bell curve, right? And there's that top 10% of the enthusiasts are going to be pushing what's possible and trying to redefine what's possible. These are like the free solo climbers in the rock climbing world. And for ice, those are probably the people that are playing on thin ice and remote ice. And that's probably going to go really well for a lot of people. And then it's probably going to bite a few people in the butt.